Good morning. It's Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning here in Warsaw. I'm Diana Skye. Russia continued its attacks on Ukraine overnight, with some strikes involving the use of guided bombs, according to Ukrainian air defense. The cities of Kharkiv, Sumy, and Zaporizhzhia were among those targeted. Now, according to early reports, a strike on Sumy damaged a gas station and railway infrastructure. This footage shows first responders securing the area. As of now, 2 people are reported to have been injured in the attack. No deal, no missiles, and a lot more questions than answers. Talks between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and President Donald Trump ended without the results Ukraine was hoping for. Zelenskyy had sought a deal for U.S.-made long-range Tomahawk missiles, but negotiations are still in progress. Our Ukraine correspondent Alex Kadier reports.
Well, the Ukrainian leader went to Washington with one key request. He wanted long-range missiles like Tomahawks, those more than 1,000-mile range missiles, to be sold to his country to be able to strike deeper into Russian territory. He also explained why he thought Ukraine needed them.
I think that Russians afraid about Tomahawks, really afraid, because it's a strong weapon. And they know what we have, what kind of weapon we have, our production. And they understand that combination with Tomahawks, because we speak about it. We don't speak about Tomahawks like Tomahawks. We need combination. And that's why they're afraid of this combination.
But the answer from the US president was no. He will not be selling those long-range missiles to Ukraine, at least not for now. We understand from reporting from Axios that the meeting between the two leaders was tough. One source familiar with the meeting said that Donald Trump was tough with the Ukrainian leader, a meeting described by some as being rather emotional. It lasted around 2.5 hours and was stopped rather abruptly by the US president, saying, "I think we're done. We'll see what happens next week," referencing, of course, his potential meeting with Vladimir Putin of Russia, the man who started the invasion of this country back in 2022. There is a clear sense that the US president, who had been shifting towards more support for Ukraine, now feels that arming Ukraine with long-range missiles could hurt a potential diplomatic solution to this war, something that is not viewed with much understanding here in Ukraine. Ukrainians feel very clearly Vladimir Putin has no desire to end his invasion of their country. Nevertheless, the diplomatic dance will continue. There will be more pressure on Ukrainians and on their troops as the winter looms. President Zelenskyy still striking a hopeful tone. He hopes he can convince the US president to keep supporting Ukraine. In Kyiv, I'm Alex Kadier for TVP World.
And as we just heard from our correspondent's report, the diplomatic dance will continue. The Trump-Zelenskyy meeting in Washington brought no major breakthrough in the US support for Ukraine. Now, with no Tomahawks on the horizon, there is a growing uncertainty in Kyiv ahead of the planned Budapest summit between the American president and his Russian counterpart.
Russia launched at least 300 drones and missiles in another massive strike on Ukraine on Friday night.
President Trump, sir.
The attack came hours after US President Trump welcomed his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the White House. The two leaders discussed a possible transfer of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. The day before the meeting, Trump held a fresh phone call with Russia's Putin. The US and Russian presidents agreed to meet in Budapest. The call between both leaders appears to have pushed Ukraine further away from making a deal on Tomahawks, experts say.
And I think this is Putin signaling that nothing much is going to change, even though he's bought this 2 weeks for himself.
Putin said that it will mean escalation and will lead to worsening of Russian-American relations. It seems that Trump has got this message.
President Zelenskyy. Right after the meeting, European leaders, together with NATO Secretary General, spoke with the Ukrainian president and reaffirmed their strong support for Ukraine, while calling for more pressure on Russia.
I reiterated our unwavering commitment to Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. The UK will continue to send humanitarian aid and military support.
One thing is absolutely clear. Europe's solidarity with Ukraine against Russia's aggression is today more important than ever before.
President Zelenskyy has the full support of Germany and our European friends on the path to peace.
During the meeting with Zelenskyy, the US president also expressed hope that the war be resolved through diplomatic means and the delivery of missiles could be avoided. However, Ukrainians themselves doubt that diplomacy will bring a quick and fair end to the war. The world has been turned on its head. Nothing is as it seems. They say one thing and do another, but we, the people of Ukraine, are suffering under the shelling. Unfortunately, the world is ruled by force, so I believe that this war will end one way or another. Sadly, this will be achieved by force. Ukrainian politicians believe that the key to peace lies in Europe.
I think that Europe also should be realistic on USA and understand that we are together have also to do more, not to wait what USA that they can deal with Putin.
As long as Ukraine and Europe and the rest of Europe stick together, no one, neither President Trump nor President Putin, will be able to break them.
The meeting between Trump and Putin will take place in Budapest in the next 2 weeks. While it could bring a breakthrough in the war in Ukraine, it might just be another red carpet moment for Putin. For TVP World, Anastasia Yanchenko.
On Saturday, the United Nations nuclear watchdog said repair work has begun at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant after temporary ceasefire zones were established to ensure safe access. Now, the plant had been cut off from Ukraine's national grid for 4 weeks, the longest blackout since Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. The outage left the reactors at risk when one of its generators failed. The International Atomic Energy Agency called the restoration of off-site power a crucial step for nuclear safety. The agency confirmed that both Ukraine and Russia are cooperating on the complex repairs. Ukraine said Russia's repeated strikes on its energy system and the occupation of the plant have created a highly dangerous situation, raising fears of a major radiation incident. Estonians head to the polls on Sunday to vote in local elections. It's the first election since the country passed legislation excluding non-EU citizens from voting. Now, over 30% of ballots were cast within the first 5 days of advance and online voting. However, nearly 72,000 residents, mostly Russian speakers, lost their right to vote after Estonia banned non-EU citizens from participating in local elections earlier in March. Lawmakers justified the move as a national security measure amid rising tensions with Moscow, arguing that only Estonian citizens should have a say in local governance. The elections conclude on Sunday, and local government councils will be elected to 4-year terms. The annual Arctic Circle Assembly in Iceland's capital, Reykjavik, concludes today. Melting ice caps and the growing presence of China and Russia in the region pose challenges NATO will have to confront. This according to Admiral Giuseppe Cavodragone, chair of the NATO Military Committee, who spoke exclusively to TVP World on Saturday.
This is a free area, and we want to keep it that way. And there will be, I'm assuming there will be some confrontation. There will be some position that will put Russia and China in front of NATO, but we need probably to increase our presence over there, and we need to exercise the right level of deterrence.
Polish border guards have discovered a 20-meter tunnel running beneath the border with Belarus. Now, the findings suggest Minsk has not abandoned its efforts to destabilize NATO and the European Union through illegal migration.
What may at first glance look like a tunnel hollowed out by an animal is actually the latest sign of a hybrid warfare waged by Russia and Belarus against NATO's eastern flank. The outlet of the tunnel was uncovered by the Polish border guard some 20 meters into Polish territory near the northeastern village of Kondratki. The discovery comes amidst the ongoing migration crisis fabricated by the Minsk and Moscow regimes since 2022. The tunnel was meant to be used by illegal migrants to cross into Poland undetected. In response to the crisis, NATO's eastern flank nations moved to significantly fortify their borders. While Poland continues to work on completing its Eastern Shield project,
Latvia too is moving to consolidate its border protection.
With construction going on along the entire eastern border, we'll definitely reach a point where practically no one will be able to cross undetected. Right now, patrolling is certainly the main way we ensure the security of the border. After the border infrastructure is completed, we will switch to early detection, as I've mentioned.
The upgrades on Latvia's border are part of the so-called Smart Border program and are carried out in cooperation with the EU.
We are supporting as much as we can financially, of course, also with Frontex being present if the member states want Frontex to be there. It can always be more, of course, but that's why our cooperation is so important.
In terms of what the fortifications will include, the Latvian Ministry of the Interior emphasizes the need to adapt to the new threats posed by Russia to NATO.
You've certainly heard about the initiative on improving various drone capabilities. And of course, in addition to this project, the Ministry of Defense is implementing anti-mobility measures along the entire length of the border. So in effect, there's also a very clear signal from the Commission that there will be support for drone technologies, support for their use on the border.
For TVP World, Zuzanna Jurek.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave a speech honoring the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. As he commended the force, Hegseth mentioned that when other units wanted to, quote, lower standards and go woke, the Marine Corps stood strong.
Being here with you is the perfect way to mark 250 years of the beautiful and beloved United States Marine Corps. President Trump has made our mission clear. We needed clarity, and he provided it. America first, peace through strength, and common sense at every turn. We are the War Department, and you are warriors. The Marine Corps embodies the warrior ethos. You see, when other parts of the department wavered in years past, not anymore, in years past, the Marine Corps stood strong. When other parts of the department wanted to go woke, the Marine Corps stood strong. When other parts of the department wanted to lower standards, the Marine Corps stood strong. You, ladies and gentlemen, are the backbone of the United States military. You always have been, and that's why we're proud to honor you today.
Protesters gathered across the United States on Saturday to demonstrate against President Donald Trump. Organizers estimate millions took part, with rallies also spreading to several European capitals.
In Washington, protesters prepared signs and costumes ahead of the march along the National Mall. In nearby Arlington, Virginia, hundreds also gathered, rallying with songs and signs before marching into Washington.
We're here today because to protest against the fascist regime that's going on in the White House.
Essentially, Donald Trump has been overreaching his powers as an executive, and we're all here to protest that and to basically say that he should not be able to conduct these overreaches of his power, invading cities, and basically showing the public is not willing to put up with that.
More than 300 grassroots groups helped organize Saturday's marches. The American Civil Liberties Union said it provided legal training to tens of thousands. Crowds also gathered in Europe, with protest actions taking place in the UK, Finland, and Germany.